All right, dude. Thanks for being
What's up,
here.
man?
It's cool to finally be able to meet you face to face.
Absolutely. Sorry about the punctuality. Saturdays and the curvature of the earth, or wait, somebody told me it's flat the other day.
It's like
I don't know.
it's the equinox. You balance
Yes.
egg on its end, and it's all good.
Mercury's in retrograde or something. I don't know. Something
Yeah,
to do with pseudoscience, I think.
celestial bodies. Are you a big coffee guy?
No, just
Really?
really only if I record before noon, I have a coffee. That's it. I drink, I overdose on pre-workout. If that's the only supplement I really take other than creatine. So.
That's awesome. Are you are you a big dry scooper, or are you just kind of
Those I'm not. No, that's just for people do that for show. I don't think people do that really. I don't know. I think that's just for show on Instagram. But I hope I'm
Yeah,
wrong. I hope I'm correct on that. I don't. If I got time to add the water, it's not that crucial.
yeah.
People dry scoop of pre-workout just to. I think it's just for reals. I hope it's just for reals. I hope there's not people out there that are doing that. Do you do that?
No, I mean, I never really got into it, but I had some friends in college that were like big in the dry scoop. They thought it was the best way to do it.
College isn't a real place. The college
No,
is,
it's not.
that's.
No, it's a bubble. It's a bubble. You're really protected. Thankfully, I haven't
Yeah.
met anyone in my adult life that likes to dry scoop because I'd probably disassociate. So, how did lesser known operators become a thing? Like, what's the background behind that?
Uh, well, as far as the name, it's the first suggestion that I wrote down, so I really got lucky on that. And I guess I must have been thinking about it for a long time because I only spent a couple seconds on the name. So I wrote it down. I said that's perfect, and I moved on with my life. But in 2024, I got I got sober in March of 2024. I stopped drinking, and then once I got sober, realized that I really hated my job because it was kind of tucked up at the management, and I didn't really like how things were being run. So I started kind of running my mouth at work. So I was let go, and
Okay.
and then so I got home and like everybody kind of thought I was going to start drinking again, and I said I feel great, I'll figure it out, and I sat at home. I started working out pretty intensively, eating consistently. And then in September of 24, my phone rang and a buddy says, "Hey, I got work down here in North Carolina. The hurricane just went through." And it's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
We see on the news, we're like, "Oh, that looks bad." It was much worse
Oh
than
yeah.
it looked like on the news. But I said, okay. So I just drove down there and walked right in the entrance to this old community college. It was closed, and they had turned it into a operations center in Hickory, North Carolina. And walked up to Charlie Williams, old retired fifth group guy, and said, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm supposed to ask you that." And he looks at my hat, and I had a first group hat on at the time. I was like, "I'm Nick. Who are you?" He's Charlie Williams. So, and I worked there for like 55, 53 days, I think, straight
Wow.
until they shut that site down. And I didn't really do anything too intensive. It was all admin meetings, making sure the camp ran smoothly, which is a lot more entailed than it sounds like. But people just park everywhere,
Yeah.
those National Guard guys. No, so it was
Yeah.
just interesting. National Guard, you got North Carolina Emergency Management, and then there was emergency management teams from, I think we had like 27 other states coming through this facility. And then the roads started to open up, and then there were more sites getting set up, and so things spread out. So that site consolidated down, shut down. But while I was there, one of the guys that was working with me, his name was Rob Toombs. He's the owner of the Mountain Readiness Expo. And he said, "Hey, we're going to do a live stream for my podcast tonight." And I said, "Oh, okay. I've never done a live one." And we set up, and I sat down right next to him, and he fires up his show, does his intro, and I start talking. And he kind of looks at me, kind of funny, as soon as I start talking. And we go through the hour podcast, and we get done. He goes, "You need to start your own show." He's like, "You got the voice for it."
Yeah.
That was extremely well spoken, and, uh, and I went, "Oh, okay." I kinda brushed it off, and I just went to my room and went to sleep.
Mhm.
I was sleeping in an old office. So we were legitimately in a community college, so you're just in offices or in bays or in
Right.
classrooms and just
Just
sleeping.
roughing it.
Well, no, not like some people. Like
Oh,
some
okay.
people.
Gotcha. You had
We
some
were
more
just
infrastructure.
I had an office and a power and lights
Yeah.
and air conditioning and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but no, we were fine. We were fine. Some people were actually suffering.
Mhm.
So, um, but so I took what he said and put it in the back of my mind, drove home, and I got home, I think Thanksgiving weekend, and did the holidays, went through and Christmas as well, kinda just hung out, and I just woke up, sometime after Christmas and right around the 1st of the year and just said, "I'm gonna start a podcast today." And I went and bought the mic and some lights and, started gathering stuff around from the house that was laying around to deaden sound,
Yeah.
and that's really it.
That's
Brought my
cool,
chair
man.
down from upstairs. I took the parts I liked out of other podcasts and said, "I wanna do that."
Yeah.
And I don't yeah, I just started doing it. I recorded with a friend of mine, episode 1, and now I think episode 126 came out yesterday or the day before. I don't release as many right now because I'm low on episodes. I need to get my schedule set, but just decided I was gonna do something and then did it, and now it's 16 months later, it's a social media brand. It's a kind of a content creation business, starting out to be a content creation business, and then the podcast as well. And then people wanted shirts, so we started making shirts and got
Yeah, you gotta
stickers.
put me on
And
the order list. I'm gonna have to snag some merch from
yeah,
you and Christian.
the the next one, we do the drops because I don't have any enough money to stock. I use the word to have overhead. I don't have any overhead for stock right
Yeah.
now, so we just
Yeah.
do a drop and then a mass shipment, and then they ship out. So the next one should be in May. I think the design, he's finishing up the design, but yeah.
Hell
So
yeah,
I guess
man.
that's a long answer of
Yeah.
what. How did it get started? I just woke up one day and said I'm going to start a podcast, and now now lesser known operators is doing its thing. I'm
Yeah,
trying to push
that's
it towards
that's dope,
helping the
man.
community.
That's
So,
awesome. I know you just crossed, what is it, the 40,000 follower mark?
yeah, 41 last night. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. I don't really know what that's like just yet because I'm trying to grow my personal pages, but obviously the podcast will hopefully follow kind of like parallel to that. But is there a major difference when you go from like no followers to over 10K? Like, have you noticed anything? Are you monetizing things? Obviously, with your merch,
Um,
it's probably a little different.
There's stuff there, but I make money off of Facebook. So once you hit 1,000 followers or 2,000 followers
Nice.
on Facebook, they start just sending you money as long as you click
That's
accept the
cool.
terms. So I'm
That's awesome.
probably enlisted into something, but they just send you money and then they send you a 1099 at the end of the year. So I made a few $100 last year, but doing all right this year off of it.
Yeah.
And Instagram, you have to have a branded sponsor deal. I haven't looked into that. Excuse me.
Oh, you're good.
But the reach, with helping people and collaborating with other people's businesses, the premise behind everything is not for me or not, and it's not for lesser known operators itself. It's for everybody else that I associate with. So,
Yeah.
true people that nobody's ever heard of, supporting my buddies' businesses or helping them get reach or views. And now I'm getting to the point where I can help with recruiting with the National Guard units because it's the National Guard Special Forces units is not in the United States military. They're in their state's military, and they have to recruit for their state.
Right.
And building a social media following is a little harder for them. And so
Mhm.
I'm starting to be able to help with those guys doing content that'll people will actually look at and
Yeah.
click on and be interested in going to the Colorado National Guard to try and be a Green Beret, or the California National Guard, or the guys at Florida.
Yeah.
Um, the closer you are to a major market, they have an easier time, but it's still, you got to do it. So
Yeah.
and I'm able to help with that. So that's fun too. So
Yeah, it's really interesting how much special forces has kind of taken off just with social media because I don't know if it's just by virtue of like following the things that interest me or if it's actually kind of a buzzword in social media now. But I mean, 20th group's killing it on Instagram. I don't know that much about 19th group, but I've seen a lot of good content come out from like SOCOM athlete, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to see
Jason
it.
Sweet runs SOCOM athlete. He's not a GB.
Mm,
He's Air Force, and his program is he's got a good thing set up. He goes around and does the uh, Hell Week, I think they are,
yeah,
or and then he does the 1 day events where guys will, depending on how they set it up, they might get a invitation to go to train with the SWID and then go to selection after that. The SWID's a special warfare training detachment, and
gotcha.
every unit has one in whatever state they're in. Yeah, so the guys at 20th, the 3rd Battalion, 20th Special Forces Group, they're down in Camp Blanding, Florida, and they'll do those, or they'll do SFREs, and then they do a two-part system down there. So
Hmm.
SFREs, Special Forces Readiness Exercise. Same with the guys in California. Big market out there as well. They have huge classes. I think they had 52, 51 or 52, maybe it was 62. I don't know.
Wow.
People come show up for their event. And it also depends where you're at. They're at sea level. The guys out in Colorado are at 6,000 feet. So there's a big difference there. If you're
Yeah,
not used to
definitely.
that, it's kind of taking a chance on yourself and your shape by just going to elevation.
Yeah. And
So
they don't really account for that from what I understand with like your run times and your rug times, I'm assuming, because it's like, hey, if standards is standard. I don't know what
I
your
mean, the
experience has
one
been.
dude turned in a 2:04 12 miler in
That's
no,
fucking
and that wasn't
crazy.
2:04. That was the next week. That was the next SFR. And it was 5 degrees out, and he ran a 2:20. He ran a 2:20. It
Wow.
was 5 degrees out, and I was like, I'm not really supposed to. I don't really talk to them while they're doing the stuff, but I went.
Yeah.
That was impressive. I'm out here. I'm out here freezing my fingers off, and I got my gloves and trying to
Yeah.
take pictures and stuff. And I went, "That was pretty good, dude. Good job." I went
Yeah.
back
That's
and put my
awesome.
gloves back on.
No,
So,
I mean,
but
that's wild because if you think about it, like most people will take a couple hours to run a half marathon with nothing on their back. And then, some of these kids have 60, 70 pounds on their back. They're running the whole thing fueled by caffeine or hatred for their dad or whatever it is, but they just grit through it. So it's like it's super cool to see how fit they are. Um,
yeah,
you mentioned you were sober. It's 2 years, correct?
yeah, 2 years and about a month. Yeah, a little more than a month.
Cool.
So
Yeah, congrats on
it's
that.
thank you. It's
Yeah,
changed my life. It made a big difference. I wasn't the nicest person. I wasn't a nice person at all when I was drinking,
yeah.
and now I don't. But I 100% replaced it with the gym. I went from being pretty strong and okay fit to extremely strong and extremely fit. Uh, so
Yeah.
you gotta that's a full-time job to do that. So I take my lifting pretty seriously. I don't lift as much as you would think. I
Mhm.
keep my diet pretty uh, tight. I eat a lot of meat and quite a few carbs, but that's not as much as people think. Very few processed foods unless I'm on the road because I have no choice. And I I train my cardio very hard. For somebody that weighs over 240 pounds, and I'm only 5'11", I train cardio very hard.
Yeah, I know how
Sucks.
that
Every
goes.
workout I do fucking blows.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're above what they call victim weight, the cardio is definitely, it's important. It's just harder because you 'cause you're carrying more around, but I think it's even more impressive when you can just do certain things that some of those skinnier guys can do at that weight
I
too.
I don't hate on anybody for going as long as they're in the gym, as long as they're working. The hardest part's getting to the gym, and if you're working out as hard as you can for your abilities, not even as hard as you can, if you're working out hard and you're doing your best for your abilities, then that's great.
Yeah,
I only really kind of intervene when people are going to hurt other people. I really don't
right.
say much if they're going to hurt themselves because they should know. But if they're going to messing with people at the gym and they're kind of like, "Hey, you're going to hurt somebody," I kind of intervene with that. But
Yeah.
People got a
So
like
walk me through the sobriety portion. Like, was that just a choice you made one day, or was that kind of difficult for you to, I guess, have that talk with yourself? Like, what
no,
what what exactly broke
I
the
was
camel's back?
100% addicted. Well, the cops got called, and that's all I'll go
Okay.
into on that. But I was 100% dependent on alcohol, and so for anybody listening to this, do not go from a half a handle of vodka a day to zero. You most likely will die.
Oh my
At
gosh.
least that's what my doctor told me. So
Yeah.
I made it through. Took me like a week of thinking I was going to die, and then I kind of came back to life and started going to the gym probably 2 weeks after I stopped drinking again. Consistently every day. I go 5 to 7 days a week to the gym, and
Yeah. Did you
that
have
keeps me
did you have
consistent.
like a
Yeah,
support group or anything, or was it just all you?
just me. Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
just me.
My dad, I think when I was 13 or 14, he got sober. So he's been sober for a long time now. And like he quit cold turkey too, from what I remember. So I was just when you get older, you don't really realize how difficult that is. And then you're like, holy shit, like this dude's hardcore. He just quit all of a sudden and acted like nothing happened. So more props to you, man. Um, take me through a little bit of the hurricane relief too. And you mentioned that a little bit earlier, but like what did you see out there? Because I'm assuming it was Hurricane Helene, right?
It was Hurricane
Yeah,
Helene. Yeah, came through the 26th or the 27th of September 2024, and it went up, and then it just sat over the Appalachian Mountains in western North Carolina and dumped 29 inches of rain in 24 hours. And so every stream, every creek, every river went up about 30 feet,
yeah,
and anything that was living along those got swept down. So quite a few casualties, lots of property loss, and huge recovery effort for I don't know when they found the last body was, but it was a few weeks that were still in recovery, and then it went no, it was search and rescue, and then it went to recovery, and there were people all over the place. But I talked to some of the guys that were there that did Katrina as well, and a bunch of other ones. They said this is the worst thing we've ever seen
wow,
because you couldn't get anywhere except by almost by foot. You
hmm,
couldn't really do much from a helicopter because you couldn't see through the trees. The elevation changed. The roads are washed out. The river, the rivers washed a lot of stuff out. So there were teams that had to go up and walk up and try and clear houses, clear sectors through the mountains, and then fitness comes into play as well. Um, it's not the fit it the there were some people out there that kind of huffing and puffing. They were doing their best,
oh
but
yeah,
it does come into when you're trying to go up and down mountains and hills and stuff and to
yeah,
clear sectors. So everybody did a great job as far from what I could see. From what I could see, everything that was or could be done was being done and did get done. So it was
yeah,
tremendous effort. There was support coming in from all over the country. At one point, they had to shut down the airport there in Hickory because there were so many pallets of donated supplies and goods. They had to just stack it on the tarmac there. They
yeah,
couldn't accept any more stuff, so they're sending all the locations. So I was at Catawba Valley Community College, and it was closed, and so they reopened it. North Carolina Emergency Management moved in there, National Guard moved in there, and some other government. FEMA was there, and then I think even so people from the 18th Airborne Corps at Fort Bragg. There's a colonel in there, and everybody's just working through there. So we're really really busy in the beginning, and then it started to slack off as time went on, and then people switched out, and so I was just managing the facilities, people and
gotcha,
personnel coming and going through, talking with the security out front, and people in charge and seeing what they needed for the area, and then there were other facilities and other contracts running different parts of it. So pretty interesting, but I just felt like I was a Green Beret again, working, doing
yeah,
my job as an 18 Charlie,
yeah,
getting to handle people and actually help do something instead of just sell vehicles to businesses so miserable. So I just felt like I was a Green Beret again. And when I got home, I just didn't want that to stop.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna
I
ask you
figured out a
because
way to keep it going.
you mentioned that once you got sober, you didn't really like the job you were at. Tell me about what you were doing before you started all this. You said selling cars.
Yeah, I was selling commercial vehicles. Before that, when I got out of the military, I worked for this. I took this job at a technology company that was setting up an industrial park, not an industrial park, like a technology. It was supposed to be the ninth wonder of the world or something like that here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And it may be someday. It's going to be a bunch of data farms, I guess, or something up
Okay.
there. They're working on it again, but I was a project manager and there were no projects to manage. So they were just trying to hire people to fulfill this contract with the United States government. So, or with the United States government and with the state of Wisconsin, so they could get this tax incremental money. And then they were going to do as little as possible to get it so they could make more from the government than they'd had to invest in the infrastructure. They'll tell you differently, but they got a sweet deal from the state of Wisconsin, and they were just looking to rip the state off.
Mm,
Then COVID came, and because they knew they weren't going to be able to get to it, and they were able to restructure the deal. And then I got let go along with a lot of other people during COVID because they just used that kind of. They eliminated a bunch of positions. So I worked for them. Like I lost that job, and then the only thing I actually did while I was there was I purchased some vehicles from a commercial dealership over on the other side of town here, and I called the guy up looking for a truck because I was thinking about starting a construction business because I was already been in the construction field. And he said, "Well, why don't you come work for me selling commercial vehicles? Come on in, we'll get an interview." I went in, did the interview, got the job, and for 4 years I sold Chevy, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu commercial vehicles for or to businesses and get them the best deal and set them up how they needed them and all that other stuff. And it really quickly just became um, Groundhog Day.
yeah.
And, there's no variance. Um, there's no, it's all, stuff would change with the models and the tech specs, but not really, not enough to throw anybody off. So there's not enough variance in your day to day life to make things exciting. So it's not like the job changed. It just continued to get more and more disheartening. So
Yeah.
I guess when I got sober, I didn't have a filter anymore because I was, and then, some management changed, some things changed, some attitudes changed around there. And I just had enough of it. And then I was let go. It happens. So, but it worked. People always say it worked out for the best. It just worked out that I wasn't there anymore
Yeah.
because it wasn't an extremely shitty job where you just walk out the door. It's just slightly shitty enough to me to have time to complain, and then I get let
Right.
go. But
Yeah.
it worked out.
Yeah. You
It
made the
worked out.
most of it. That's for sure. So I'm curious because I know you probably I haven't really dug deep into your social media or anything, but I don't know how much you talk about your actual career. Do you want to just start from the beginning and talk about like when you joined and kind of that whole
Yeah,
timeline?
man. Yeah, absolutely.
How old were you when you joined?
Oh, oh man. Somebody asked me this the other day, and I had to like start counting. I was young. I think I was 24, 23 or
Okay,
24 when I went to basic training.
gotcha.
That wasn't, but I wasn't, fresh out of high school young. But 23,
Yeah.
24. I got to MEPS. I failed that dot test, with all the dots and the
Oh
numbers
yeah.
in there. I
Hmm.
didn't do very well on that. So I had to take whatever they would give me at MEPS, which was a multiple launch rocket systems fire direction system specialist. I was a 13 papa.
Oh wow.
And it's not even an oh wow, yeah, cool level of cool. It's and the amount I got to do it was less than zero. So I never did that job either. But so I signed the contract, get everything done in maps, and I shipped out in April. Yeah, April of 2011. So
Okay.
about 15 years ago, and went to basic at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Went to AIT at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I I graduated number one in my class on both things, basic and AIT, right?
Mhm.
And I was super excited. I was like, I'm gonna go somewhere cool. I'm gonna go to Fort Lewis,
Yeah.
Washington, or I'm gonna go to 82nd Airborne at Bragg, and then I'll go to airborne school. This is gonna be awesome.
Mhm.
And they start reading assignments, and I got Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and I was super disheartened.
Right.
So because
It's
I've
not
been
much
there all
there.
summer. No, it kind of sucks. And so I graduate, got in the van, went right across the street to my unit, signed out, went on leave, came back, went out to my unit in the field, came out of the field. I said, this isn't for me. Went to my NCO and I said, hey, I'm going to go to the special forces brief at the library. And he said, do whatever you want, man. I don't care. And went to that, signed my sheet of paper to my volunteer statement, went to selection, hurt myself about a little over halfway through, and couldn't. I walked my knee until it just wouldn't bend anymore,
Oh,
and came back. You got the whole thing for people. Oh yeah, you didn't make it. Blah blah blah.
yeah.
Blah. I was like, shut up, man. And trained up, healed up over the summer, and trained back up, and went back in September of 2012. Got selected, came back, finished up a couple things, and then PCS'd in March or April, I think, of 2013. Started the course summer of 14 and then 13 and then graduated in October of 2014 and then went to my unit. But
Nice.
yeah, pace, my first, I was at Fort Sill, field artillery. I was like, oh, at least I'll get to shoot some rockets. I never got to do that. Maybe I'll go to a line company and get to, practice doing my job. I sat at a desk. I got stuck in the S2 on
Yeah, that's
staff.
that's
So
ass, man. No, I hate how, the S2 guys are usually pretty cool, but everyone just gives them shit because they're nerds, and,
well,
it's not a fun place to
it was
be.
it was just me and another guy in there and working in an office. I just went and met up with him. Actually, he's my oldest friend from the military. I met him, first time I got my unit. And I sat. He's like, "I'm Alex." I was like, "Okay, well, what do we do here?" He said, "We don't do anything." Oh,
Oh,
this
wow.
is this is terrible. So yeah, that it was kind of disappointing there as well. So my entire view of the military up until I started doing the show was just of that first unit. And now,
Mhm.
and then I didn't have the bandwidth to care about what else went on in the military
Yeah.
up until recently because I just didn't think about it. All I thought about was that desk at 218 Fires on 75th Fires Brigade in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and working at the S2. And I figured the entire military was just like that. And
Yeah.
this, and I kept that in my mind to get me through the whole, everything. That I don't want to go back. I don't want to go to the 82nd because I'm going to be, sitting at a desk or I'm going to be doing nothing and things like that. So it just kept me motivated to do what I did. And I never gave it a second thought once I graduated that there might be some bright spots in other units and things like that. I just never thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, like, I didn't have any perspective on the military when I joined. Like, I didn't understand school culture or, like, the MOS kinda, like, lifespan, and, like, my dad was in the Army for a good number of years, but his perspective was different because he was in special operations, and he just lived a different life than I did, so he couldn't really tell me a whole lot about, like, today's military. So you go in with no perspective, your interests are different. Like, if I could give advice to somebody that is gonna join, I would say if you're looking for something different, like, just go combat arms and just tear the Band-Aid off. Cause, like, most every other job is kinda like what you were talking about. It's fairly monotonous, and, like, there are interesting days, but it's kinda like corporate America, really.
It can be a little bit,
Yeah.
but in some of those roles, there's jobs where you'll go all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a cameraman in the army,
Yeah.
you're going to go everywhere.
Yeah,
You're going to go
PAO is huge.
all over the place. Everywhere that the unit goes, you're there clicking your camera.
Mhm.
Um, if you join the Air Force and you're a boomer, which is a boom operator on a KC-135 refueling aircraft,
Yeah.
you'll go to almost every country that has a runway. You'll
Yeah.
go everywhere in the world, and it's it's not just, but you're operating controls, and you're just looking out the back of an aircraft, and then an F-35 will pull up,
Mhm.
refuel, and then leave, disappear off in the distance.
Yeah.
So there's jobs that you're like, that sounds. I'm just a fueler. Well, some of those fueler jobs are pretty cool. Some of those
Yeah.
combat cameraman are
Yeah.
pretty cool. Like if you're a combat cameraman in First Special Forces Group, you're going to see all of Asia, the entire, all of
Definitely.
it.
Definitely. Yeah.
So
It's interesting because like you really have to you got to do a little bit of research, and some of those jobs just aren't really like put out there. They're not really broadcasted in the way that they should. So I think it's cool to see what you're doing because you're kind of shining some light on maybe those less visible things that are options that people might not know about. Um, so I definitely think that's interesting.
I
What was the
try.
hardest? Oh, sorry.
No, I try.
Yeah.
I definitely give a lot of attention to special forces
Oh,
because
definitely.
I want the home team to win, and that's the largest portion of my audience. But one guy last night messaged me about one of my posts, and I said, I'll do the same thing for civil affairs if you send me the link. I just don't monitor
Yeah.
y'all's stuff as much. And I said, if it's as long as it's special operations, I'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
I just, it just doesn't come the little pieces of info don't find their way to me as much. But if you send it
Right.
to me, it finds it to me. I'll put it up on the page, and I'll give you guys, the same care that I give to special forces. It's just I have more people in more places within SF than I have in some other branches. But I'm expanding, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to.
Definitely.
I, I I think it's the coolest thing. There's so many different jobs that you can do, and so many different ability levels. And if you want to go do some cool stuff, there's as, as long as you want to, you can pretty much overcome a lot of different things, a lot
Yeah.
of different limiting factors, and stuff that would usually send in your way, as long as you want to, because that's more important than natural talent in a lot of these things, in a lot of special operations units. You
Yeah.
start the higher you get, you need to have a lot of more tools in your on your Swiss Army knife, but
Right.
you just as long as you want to, gotta want it.
Yeah. You have to have that will to keep going even when it sucks. So you mentioned going back a second time to selection. What was the hardest part for you at that point? Because you were obviously physically ready.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. Nothing about going back. So I knew going back from the moment I stepped off the bus to the moment I sat down with that guy, I knew I was going to get selected. I was 100% ready. When I went the first time, you're kind of lost,
Yeah.
and now mind you, it still sucked. You
Absolutely.
still
Yeah.
have to go through. You still have to find all your points and land nav. I don't know how many you have to find actually, but you have to pass all your PT tests. You have to pass your gates. You have to, deal with, what was it, Black Wednesday or Black Friday, whatever day it was. You get the shit smoked out of you for hours and hours and hours. But that even wasn't that bad because I'd done it the first time. I was like, I could do it the second time. And um, then we go to land nav, you find all your points. Then you get to team week. Team week just sucks the entire time, and your
Yeah.
feet hurt, and your hands hurt, your grip. You can never train your grips enough. But I went the first time. I kind of got the playbook about what was going to happen, and then I just went and did that. So
Yeah.
I completely different mindset in that one, and I just went and executed because I generally two times is if you're going to get picked up, you're going to get picked. There's a lot of people in regiment, a lot that went to selection two times,
Yeah.
and they kind of either for whatever reason fumbled the first time or something, and then they figured this shit out and they went a second time and made it happen. So, uh, yeah, but yeah, it completely different version of me.
For
I
sure.
was as ready as you can be. People will say, you're never going to be ready, but if you go twice, you're as ready as you're going to be, and you might not get
Yeah.
picked up again,
Yeah.
but you can go a third time. So I've heard of people being able to go three or four times. I know three times, but I don't know before. Yeah,
Yeah. I think the limit. I think the limit is like 3 for any selection at McCall now, but um, Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like the second go around, you've been exposed to that environment. Like you've been around all the knuckleheads who are kind of trying to navigate their way through. And I feel like you can tell when someone's going to be successful because they're not letting the small stuff get to them. Like there's always one person in the crowd where you look at them and you're like, yeah, you're going to be just fine. Like you've got the
Yeah.
confidence, you're physically capable, you are a leader even though you probably don't think you're a leader. Like there's just a presence that they have that just kind of separates them. But you don't really know what you're capable of until you expose yourself to it. So it makes sense that you did well a second time, which is awesome.
That's all I thought about. Once I got back, I felt like such a loser,
Yeah.
because I got lumped in with the people that quit, and I feel like it's just really so for those 8 months until I was able to get back there, it's all I thought about. All I thought about, the workouts, the
Hmm.
food, the preparation. I still didn't prepare totally correctly because I still had little bitch feet when I went back. They got the shit beat out of them. My grip still wasn't strong enough, but my
Yeah.
legs, my back, my shoulders, my cardio, all was much better. It's just a constant attention to what I had in mind. Even if I was doing other stuff that had nothing to do with it, always in my mind was going back and being successful,
Yeah.
and getting out of Fort Sill, Oklahoma. So,
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you had the right motivation. So once you got to your first unit, was that you said it was first group or was it somewhere else?
oh, if after graduation.
Yeah. So after Q course was done, you get to your first team. Where was that?
So yeah, I graduated the Q course October 23rd, 2014. PCS'd out to First Special Forces Group. Went and sat down with Sergeant Major Coran, and I don't remember anything from the conversation other than he asked, "Can you swim?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Great, you're going to the dive team."
Ah,
And I
shit.
said, "That's less than ideal."
Yeah.
So I walked down to 1335. That's this logo here. Um, First Group, 3rd Battalion, Charlie Company, 5th Team, which is a dive team. 5 usually
Nice.
is a dive team. And walked in a team room. The other guy was with me, case of beer. I'm Sergeant so and so, and this my buddy. The guy that was with me. He's a team sergeant now on one of the teams, same company. He's still in, but yeah, not a good team. Not a good team sergeant. Almost the entirety of the team being bad was the capability and the uh, yeah, was the team sergeant. He's a piece of shit.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, so
Still don't like him.
oh no, he's the only person that I'll bash on my show by name. And
Okay.
it's written into the policy of lesser known operators. No, the dude ruined my life. So he I got hurt, but we were down in Astoria, Oregon. It's this picture here.
Mhm.
And right after that picture was taken, I got hurt. I had a couple concussions out on the ocean. And so that was in April of 2015. So I got to my team in January of 2015, and then by April, I was non-deployable. I went to the B team. I was never going back to a team, and I
Damn.
spent spent a little over 3 years, 3.5 years in group bouncing around. So I went to the B team as like a junior 18 Charlie, kind of just healing up a little bit and learning the job in hopes that I would kind of get better. And then we came back from Korea for 6 months there, came back, went to another B team in 2nd Battalion, Charlie Company 2nd Battalion, and went back to Korea for 7 months. Came back from that and went to battalion staff as the battalion Charlie. And that was my last stop. I got medically
Wow.
retired after that. So it wasn't, maybe it wasn't the you know, severity of my injuries. It was the amount of them, the amount of concussions I had over my life.
Sure.
And there were just some symptoms that were there that really weren't going to go away. And everything was well documented. People
Mhm.
say, you got to get your stuff documented. Well, when it came to uh, concussions, mine were open. Okay. Yep. Everything's there. Shut. Medical retirement. I was never going to go back to a team. It's kind of a liability. So I,
Yeah.
I didn't know as much sneaky stuff as I do now. If I did, I would still be in. But
Mhm.
excuse me.
Oh, you're good.
Um, but I got out at the end of 18, and yeah, would say I took that pretty poorly. But
Was that when you kinda
I didn't want to get out.
was that when you took to alcohol, or did you pick that up kind of along
Oh,
the
that was
way?
a progressive
Yeah.
thing. And everybody, the military at that time, big drinking culture, not like it is now, but
Yeah.
it's starting to on the downward trend, depending on what units and things you're in.
Yeah, I
But
mean, depends on where you go. They still love their bourbon over in 5th Group.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they do. But I've talked to team sergeants, my buddies and stuff. They said none of the guys on their teams drink,
Wow.
so it's definitely on the downward trend. But now, I mean, I got out, I started that job, I was all professional, and then I realized that it wasn't a real job, and then I kind of get
Mhm.
depressed, and then things up and down for years and years. But the major negative was I moved out to Wisconsin, and there's
Mhm.
nobody out here. I moved away from all my friends, my support group, everybody I knew, and the job I worked so hard to get into and be in for 8 years,
Yeah.
and then it was over. So I just took that poorly. But yeah, I guess long answer to your question there, man. Yeah, I got the first group in January 2015, and by November of 2018 was all over.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I appreciate you sharing that, and it's interesting because like, I think you have to kinda be okay with the delayed gratification of that job too, and a lot of dudes don't really realize just how much time they're investing into what might be a really short experience. Like, some guys are really only on a team for 2 or 3 years, and then they end up on staff kinda like what you experienced, and it's like, "Oh, well, what was the point?" So, um, I mean, what advice would you have for somebody just knowing what you know now, like, if they're gonna pursue this career path?
Oh man, it don't matter how long you're on a team or how long you're in the military, it's only gonna be 15 minutes. That's
Yeah,
it. I feel like I was in the army for 15 minutes. I put my uniform on and then I took it off and
yeah,
it was over. And then the cooler you are, the less proof that you're gonna have that you were cool as you go on. Because none of my buddies have these pictures that I scrounged together are from
yeah,
I post almost everything I get as long as they're okay with it, and that's it. And then these are
yeah,
thousands of people that are sending me, some team patches, that's easy to collect and stuff, right? But actual
mhm,
team pictures,
yeah,
there's, because you get desensitized to it because you're seeing it. You're seeing all these military pictures, but every single person that's going out is like, man, I don't have anything. These are people with single digits. I've
yeah,
been able to scoop together maybe 15 of me ish, 15 or
wow,
20 of me throughout my career that are pretty okay.
mhm.
And there's just not a lot out there. Like, I didn't know this picture existed. I don't even remember standing there. I don't,
Oh,
re-
really?
yeah, I don't remember that. That's the first time I saw that picture is when this plaque arrived at my house.
Yeah,
Um, and then somebody sent me my Robin Sage picture the other day, and a couple of years ago now, actually. And I looked at it, I went, I have no memory of taking this picture.
yeah,
So there is stuff out there. There's one guy I found a bunch of him in Korea, and I sent him to him the other day. People pop out of the woodwork. You're in somebody's phone somewhere,
yeah,
but
that's
that's
interesting.
the big thing is just take your supercomputer out of your pocket and take a couple
Yeah,
pictures every now and then of you and the homies because uh, those guys aren't going to be around in your life for very long. Be just a couple minutes and they're gone. But
yeah,
yeah,
I feel like by virtue of kinda having an interest in content creation, you learn to appreciate the temporary state of everything. Because like, some people, they get really weird when you break out your camera, you break out your phone, it's like, "Hey, let's take a picture," and they're like, I don't want to, that seems cringy," but it's like, I don't ever wanna be that guy that doesn't have, memories, or doesn't have, I guess, that proof you're talking about the things that you did in your life. Like, I want to be able to show some things to my kids and have those stories to go with it. And like, the unique thing about your phone is it's from your perspective, like no two videos are ever the same. So if I'm taking a video about this cool place that I went and I can show that to my kid when he turns, 15 years old, hey, like dad's been here before, like this is what it looks like. Like you could go here too. That's a really cool thing to be able to share. And like we haven't had that until now. Like this generation is probably one of the first to be able to really show some visual proof of a life well lived. So I want to be able to have that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a luxury. We have many, many luxuries that we take for granted
Yeah.
and, make use of 'em. I mean, we got hot water in our houses, we got cars that remote start in the winter when it's cold outside. You know, you can just run out there in a nice toasty seat warmer. You got a supercomputer that travels around with you in your pocket that has the
Yeah.
answer to every question you could ever think of. So make
Yeah.
the most of it because one day it's all going to be memory, and it's a lot sooner than you think. So
Yeah.
that's something I tell everybody. Now everybody tells everybody because for 20 years, the whole global war on terror, nobody got the images with the homies because people start dying, and you're like,
Hmm.
you know, I get the messages all the time. Hey, so and so passed away or has committed suicide or something like that. And it's what everybody does, go to their phone and look for a picture that they have together to send to their family or
Yeah.
send to to your homies and stuff. Cause now that person only lives in your text messages and in the gallery of your phone. So
Right.
take as many as you can. Try, respectfully. So that's why I like going out to 519 out in Colorado because
Hmm.
I'll do the SFREs, but they'll have other stuff going on while I'm there, like a retirement ceremony last time I was there, and I got pictures of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of a couple people still don't know who I am, but the room was full of people, and they're all like, "Hey, Nick," everybody knows who I am now, and I wear my uniform, just slick. I don't have anything on it, so
Right.
the only thing that differentiates me is a ball. Well, actually, all the SF guys wear a ball cap, but um, there's a beard, so I just kind of blend in, and just I'm kind of, because I'm just big guy, just crouching,
Yeah.
taking photos like this, and nobody even really looks at me anymore. A couple people still, but now they've all learned who I am. So
Yeah.
it's familiarity over time. You need just like that combat cameraman. They got to blend in and take their pictures. But once they're part of the team, you can get in there, and so
Hmm.
there's there's benefits to that too. I just love being able to send the guys a group of pictures and go, "Hey, here's your pictures
Yeah.
from your thing that would have not been taken." So, uh, it's fun. It's a team sort of effort sort of thing, and I really enjoy it. But yeah, you gotta make the effort to do those sorts of things. Otherwise, it just won't get done.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. And it's funny because like going through my career, I've seen some buddies of mine or people that I've worked with who just like kind of fell off the face of the earth. And you're like, oh, I wonder what they're up to now. And I always come across the same photo. It's either Swick or, your page or maybe Run Lift Perform or just one of those pages where they're, putting out pictures from Robin Sage or something like that, and you see like a sliver of somebody's face that and you're like, I know that guy. I know him. And I've seen it a few times and I'm like, man, I wish I could just grab this picture and send it to him, but I don't know how to get a hold of him. And it's just I always enjoy looking through those pictures to see if I know anybody because it's amazing the people that will surprise you and you would have never thought that they would end up in that spot. And you're like, how'd this goober make it? Like how did he get here? So
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of fun. Um you mentioned the passing of some of the homies. So I've noticed your recent posts, every now and then when somebody passes, you make a good effort to, put something out about them. What started all of that? Has that been kind of a theme of the page the whole time, or is that just a recent thing that you started doing?
So July 6th, 2023, my best friend killed himself, and right before he did, he called me to tell me he loved me, and that was the last time I ever spoke to him. Didn't really understand what he was saying, so
Yeah.
I took that very poorly,
Hmm.
and that led to me going off the deep end, and then eventually getting sober 6-ish months later. Yeah, 6-ish, 7 months later. So I started the page to highlight the, people around me that do some cool stuff that nobody's ever heard of, right? And then it just people I know kind of, or the information got to me of people committing suicide or dying prematurely, which doesn't really happen that often to people in my age group. So
Mhm.
everybody thinks it's a suicide if somebody goes in their 30s or their 40s, right? So
Yeah.
it just started happening that I was like, well, I got to do something, for the guys, and I just started doing it as I was finding out about them.
Right.
That started with Chad Miller. So Chad Miller was my company ops sergeant. When after I got hurt in 2015, I went to the B team, and Chad Miller was master sergeant, promotable. He's about to go to the sergeant major academy, right? So he he's just nice to me. He was a mentor for a lot of guys in the company, and he was command sergeant major at 4th Battalion at SWIC when he retired. So he was Bravo Company sergeant major when he came back from the sergeant major academy. And I think it was June. I don't mess the date up here, but I was with 19th Group at Fort McCoy. They were doing a SFRE. It was my first time being out there with those guys, and like right in the middle, I get a message that he had committed suicide Friday night, and this is Saturday morning, and I kind of was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh." And I told the guys, and like three of the guys in the formation knew him as well, and because I was like, I was like, fuck, and so like, what do we do? I was like, let's just continue to train, and so I made some posts about it to help get information out, and that's one thing where found out that I was back in this social media sphere doing with things. So I was able to get information out for the family, and unfortunately let people know that didn't know.
Mhm.
And and then from there, as if I kind of decided if the information comes to me, um, then I'm going to do something with that information, and something in a respectful way to
Yeah.
one, let people know about it. Two, put a face to the words on the page, because we read a number or a statistic and it's not real. You just scroll right past it. You kind of feel bad for a second, but you don't feel. But if you see one of your friends' face, or somebody knows, they're probably hurting about it. It makes it a lot more real. So I
Mhm.
just decided I was going to do something in a respectful and memorial way that involves me as little as possible.
Yeah.
Unfortunate thing about that is I take on a lot of sad information. Uh, but at this point, I kind of feel like I was made for it. I I get to a certain feeling, and I kind of just stay there, and then I figure out a way to make myself feel better. So I make a
Sure.
lot of funny. You'll see after one, I make a lot of funny stuff in a row, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of trying to cheer myself up. But so yeah, after that happened, and um, that was in June, and then one of the guys that was there uh, from that SFRE, he killed himself in November, and that took a toll on the team. It was only 84 days apart or something like that,
Yeah.
and so we had that pretty much back to back because I had yeah, and so I went out to that funeral as well, and met up with the guy. So I just became part of the team for 19th Group at that point, because it was really starting to affect me.
Mhm.
And I said, "Well, what?" Everybody asked, "What can I do? What can we do?" Well, I can do what I can do, and you can do what you can do. And so I am going to, as I say, I'm going to make the homies famous one last time with my posts
Sure.
and what I say about it. And I'm going to give people the information. I'm going to show, I'm going to do things a certain way, and I'm going to do that way every time. And if I can make little improvements along the way, and if I can help with GoFundMe links, or if I can help with getting information out, and it's turned into where some people are getting their news about these things from me,
That's
because
fucking crazy, man.
but it's kind of depressing, but as I said, it's something I think about all the time, and
Yeah,
do it in a way that yes, I'm the one doing the work, but it's not about me. It's about, well, what if somebody else is thinking about this
yeah,
and they can see this post or they can see the stuff that I make about it and like, oh, I've got the resources, or
right.
I can convince somebody that their friends have the resources to get them the help that they need. We're not going to stop all of them, but maybe we can stop a couple, and that's a lot
Yeah,
better than none. So
yeah,
it's I'm doing everything that I think I can do, and at all times thinking of what more I can do. So all the followers, all the funny stuff, all of the other posts, the base mission is to strengthen the brotherhood and help everybody that I can through my actions. So,
yeah,
Rolf Jensen came on my show a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago now, and he said, but as far as right is concerned, you will always be able to look at me and know what right is. And that's now what I have in my mind. If I want to show people what right is, I was a senior leader in the United States Army. I can be a senior leader as a civilian. And I just need to carry myself. We, as veterans, need to carry ourselves in a way that is still showing what right is like. If we had soldiers and we were in charge of people, we still need to carry that on if we want to be a resource to our community, to our friends around us, and things like that. So, um, and but it's unfortunately in when you talk about those things, it's very sensitive. You have to say
sure.
things the right way. You've got to be respectful, and you can't sound icky, and it's not to make money, it's not to anything, it's all to help. And it's a constant storm of thoughts and emotions in my head on the subject, but I
Yeah,
bounce around and try and do my best for the community because it's happening a lot, and
hmm,
there's a lot of my friends that are suffering over this decision that their other friends have made. It's they're never going to recover from, and I
yeah.
want to do something about that as much as I can, whatever that looks like.
Well, I'll speak for me. I don't know about other folks, but I think there are a lot of other folks who appreciate what you're doing. It's very noble, and I don't necessarily know what the solution is, but I've seen a few of your stories surrounding people that are I'm assuming they're still with us too, but maybe we're kind of at risk. And just the amount of outreach and care and the network that you've built through social media to make sure that these people stay with us too is something that I think is amazing because, you know, no loss of life from suicide is ever acceptable. So if we can save one person and keep them from making a permanent mistake, that's the important thing. I'm it's tough because I feel like when you're a man or a woman, but it's a big issue with men, especially when you're in those situations, you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, or you feel like for some reason you don't have a network that you have access to anymore. And it's just not true. Like I remember moments in my life where they were pretty low, and like I just kind of self sabotaged or didn't feel like I had anybody to talk to, and there could have been someone right next door to me that I could have talked to. So it's like, if you're listening to this right now, just know that there are people that care about you, and ultimately, God loves you the most. But there are people to your left and right, maybe even a phone call away, that you can talk to that will help change your perspective. You just have to be able to be receptive to it. What do you think that the big long term solution might be, if there is one, to kind of help men out with these types of issues?
People don't do anything unless they have to or they want
Yeah.
to, right? And it's best if they want to do it. I am going to have I don't create anything and I don't offer any services where I physically have my hands on people or I don't to this point, I don't have treatment. I'm not a licensed anything. So it's a team effort. What can I do? I
Mhm.
can create a network where I can move information incredibly fast. And social media is tough to figure out. It's very hard to figure out how to even get a post to get 1,000 views or 10,000 views, 100,000 views, right?
Mhm.
Um, but if I can devote my time to that, then I want to be extremely good at that portion so that if somebody needs my help that does have treatment or that does need help, then I can link those two up very quickly. So the solution is on the individual.
Yeah.
What do I have that I can offer to other people that I can do better than anybody else? You know, I when I was in the army, I was the best soldier at my unit. I was the best soldier on Fort Sill. I was very good. And when I was in the Q course, I was very good as well. When I was a group, I don't know if I was the best Green Beret. I don't know. I did my job. I did my job really well. I knew what to do after a certain point, but you're always learning and they're always
Yeah.
giving you something new to do that makes you think you don't know what you're doing. So, man, I don't know if I was the best Green Beret, but I am the best retired Green Beret. I damn sure am. Uh, and that's on me. It's only a one person team and I'm running my team as best I can.
Yeah.
And it's a different thing on this side of things. There's no uniform, there's no boss, there's nobody telling me what to do. So I'm gonna work my piece of the team effort as best I can. And if other people would do that too, um, you gotta put your own oxygen mask on first, and
Yeah.
that'll give you the ability to help other people. Um, but you definitely got to be careful who you let drag you into hell,
Of
because
course.
there's sometimes you won't be able to pull yourself out of it. Like, a lot of the stuff I make is sad, but a lot of it's awesome. I get to meet
Mhm.
so many cool people, and I get to talk to people about their stories. I get to have long conversation with people I don't know, and I get to network. And oftentimes, people will reconnect through me being out in the space, and that's even better. And then you're just strengthening all these other things behind the scenes. So you the one thing I'm working on is you're not gonna do what you think you're gonna do. So with this,
Yeah.
the what I think all of this was gonna do is not what it's doing. It's
Right.
completely different. I was like, I'm just gonna start a podcast. I didn't know where this was gonna end up. You know,
Yeah.
people rag on everybody. Oh, everybody's got a shitty podcast, or all these veterans, and all this other stuff. And I go, shut the fuck up. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? Like, who cares, right? As long as they're not defrauding the elderly or hurting children or hurting animals, why do you
Right.
care? You know,
Right.
like, don't worry about it. They're trying to help themselves out. I can help somebody that needs to talk to somebody on my show way more than to be like, oh, I don't want to talk to a therapist. Well, come talk to me. Let's have an interview, or let me link you up with somebody and things like that. And so
Yeah.
the there's no right answer, but it's on the individual to do the best that they can for what they're doing. And other people will see that because we're all in competition somehow, whether we admit
Mhm.
to it or not. We're all in competition with one another. Like, oh, Nick's doing this or Chase is doing that. I want that. When I started Instagram, I was like, oh, 40,000 followers. I want that. I want to have 40,000 followers. And I went and did it.
Yeah.
And now I got other goals I want to get to. And there's a lot of other stuff that comes along with doing that. And now I've gotten to a point where I I'm not losing money when I leave the house. And I'm like, oh
Right.
man, let's how far can we push things to where what else can we do to support and do stuff that I see other people that I want. And I want to do that. And I want to help. I want to give people a big check, a donation check. I want to
Yeah.
do that. I want to go um, speak at a graduation. I want to do these other things. How can I create my own thing that I can do, but with with the end goal of helping other people accomplish their goals as well, or get
Mhm.
treatment, or accomplish other things. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's as hard as it was to get to where I was in the military. It's just as hard to get to where I want to be in the civilian life.
Yeah,
Just
I feel like a lot of people have that desire to give, they just don't have the capabilities to yet because obviously it's very difficult to give somebody else bricks when you're trying to build your own house. And there's a book that I reference a lot. It's called Into the Magic Shop, but it talks about the connection between the brain and the heart and how like ultimately being altruistic and giving is kind of the highest form of achievement that people can get to. So, I really appreciate what you're doing, and I hope that you're able to get to a point where that turns into some type of foundation or donation platform where you can give back like that because that's something that I'm interested in too. And hopefully we can just continue to grow and be able to do that because from everything I've been told, it's very fulfilling to be able to give back to people, and I do think that that's true. Um, let's go to more of a happy topic.
I thought that is time. I
Yeah,
love that stuff.
yeah.
I
No,
love
you
that
should read
stuff.
it though. It's a good book. Into the Magic Shop by Richard Doty. He's a neurosurgeon. I think he might be retired now, but that book helped change my life because teaches you all about meditation, how to get what you want, and then he went through his whole life using those techniques, and he eventually gave it all away. And he's a really cool dude. Um, I was curious, totally off topic, but where'd you get your dog from?
The fluffy one?
Yeah, he's cute,
Oh,
man. He's adorable.
I don't know if you guys know this. I used to drink a lot and have a lot of money. Now I'm broke and sober and I have that fluffy dog. So
It's a good trade off.
we just went out for coffee one day and I was like, I want that. And
I
I
want
just
that
bought him.
dog.
Yeah. So, we weren't like great friends. And then my wife made me take him on my road trip in October.
Yeah,
And now we're homies. He's my boy.
that's
So
cool.
we go everywhere. So he's going with the next road trip. He's coming with me to go to I don't know if he'll get to go to all 50 states, but he'll definitely get to go to 48 states. I got to
That's
figure out some
awesome.
logistics if I'm going to bring him to Alaska and to Hawaii with me, but
Cool.
we'll see. Um, yeah, he's a character. I can when when I'm on the road, I'm just this big guy like throwing weights around in a parking lot and I'm all
Hmm.
sweaty. But then people will look at me and then they'll look at this dog and then they'll come over and talk to us.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "What is this?" And I was like, "He's a fluffy French bulldog." And they're like, and they say the same thing every time. "I didn't know those were real." And I was like, "I didn't know either." "What are you
Yeah.
doing?" "I'm raising money for Project Recon. I'm doing squats all over the country." And they're like, "What's that?" So he's the God, what is that stupid word? He's the marketing department at
Oh, that's
lesser
funny.
known operators. Yeah.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but we were at the Grand Canyon and I'm setting up. I kind of, it's like, I was just in the back of my truck putting my socks, my shoes on. I had like 3, 4 people kind of around me talking to me. And I had clipped him to like No, I think I gave him to a tourist to hold on to. I was like, "Hey, you wanna hold on to this for me?" And, he had, like, 20 Chinese tourists crowded
Oh my
around him,
god,
like,
dude.
taking pictures.
I don't wanna go down this road, but I don't know. It's
Ah,
interesting.
it's fine. He was fine. They were all, like, taking little pictures with the fluffy Frenchie,
What is
and,
he?
well, he was kinda under my feet, and I was like, "Here, hey, hold on," because I could watch him. He's not
That's
gonna go
so
anywhere.
funny.
Nobody's gonna outrun me, and nobody's gonna
Yeah,
they're gonna get away
yeah.
from me. So, it's just like I think I kinda let him go do his thing and stuff, and he's a funny little creature,
Mhm.
and, he's great icebreaker for me when
Yeah,
I'm 'cause just, oftentimes I'll have to throw the barbell with the weights on my back and walk to where I need to go. And people look at me and they'll kind of shy, like, what is going on? And then they'll see the dog and go, "Whoa, these 2 don't match. I gotta see I gotta see what's going on."
yeah.
So he's been helping me with that quite a bit. but I just got to keep him, out from where under my feet and stuff, and keep him safe. And we
Yeah.
do just fine together. He's just, I just got to figure out the feeding him on the road thing. He does like McDonald's cheeseburgers as well,
Oh
like I
my
do.
gosh.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, now we know that those are somewhat safe for dogs, so that's good.
I All right. So people rag on me. This is my when I'm on the road, people are like, "What do you eat?" I said, "I eat 4 double quarter pounders with cheese and only ketchup every day when I'm on the road."
Wow.
And they go,
Okay.
"That's not healthy." And I went, "I can show you the blood work. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't affect me one bit at
Hmm.
all." And I not only did I not get less healthy, my strength increased and my body
I
I
wonder if
I
it's just
just
because you were, like, in straight up
I wasn't
ketosis or something.
I wasn't eating enough calories. I was below
That
my
makes sense.
calorie intake, and my protein was over where it was supposed to be. So I just was it didn't have, it's probably they've got. I know. I mean, I don't know if that's the safest. What are the stuff they have in things to uh,
Preservatives.
preservatives? I don't know if the
Yeah.
preservatives within the meat are healthy, or if there are any in there, or if that Venezuelan meat or whatever it's from in Australia is good for me. It's transported because McDonald's goes through 2 million pounds of beef a day,
Holy
and then you
shit.
start doing the numbers on that, and you go, man, that's a lot of cow. They got to be bringing in cow from other places.
Yeah.
So uh, I don't know how they're transporting it or whatever, but I just get it with a little bit of ketchup on there, and I eat the only half the bun and the 2 pieces and the cheese, and I just eat that. I eat 4 of those a day, and I sleep like a baby.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it's probably pretty spot on. You're in that calorie deficit and, like, there's ways to stay healthy on fast food. I just don't think people realize it. When did you get your blood work done?
Back in October or back before,
Okay.
yeah,
Who'd you go
at the
through
end of
for
November.
that? I'm curious
Oh
about doing
man,
it
the
too.
VA. I just haven't run my
Oh,
numbers and stuff like that. Yeah, so
okay.
um, which I need to get an appointment set up. The VA is great if there's nothing wrong with you. They'll give you whatever you want as long as nothing's wrong with you.
As long as you don't have a
But
mental illness or an actual injury, got it.
oh my god, yeah,
Yeah.
I went to see my psychiatrist or something, and this led to me stopping going. Even just I said
Yeah.
I'm not going to come here anymore. But she's
Mhm.
great. She's great. Uh, we would have great conversations. Uh, and she would read the books I would tell her to read. Strange, I'm going the one giving her book recommendations.
Mhm.
It's weird, but we would talk about that stuff and like what I'm doing with all these other things. She would love to hear what I'm up to now. Maybe I should go see her. But she said, "I want to see you back in 3 months." And I walked out. I said, "All right, bye, doc." And I went to the desk. They said, "We can get you in 7 months." I said, "I'm not going to come back here anymore. I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing in 7 months, and I'm not coming back here anymore."
Yeah.
So, because every time it goes out that far, I have to cancel. It's like every time,
Right.
and so I was like, just whatever. Calling, just let me know." So maybe I should go back and see her, and catch up and things like that. She'd love to hear all the stuff that I got going on. Uh,
Yeah.
because she knew I'd be able to do this stuff. She was saying it when I first started, when I first got out of the military. So, but
Dude, just
yeah,
tell her to follow you on Instagram. I'm sure she
she
could,
probably
you know,
she probably does.
she'll like,
No,
"Oh, he's doing alright. That's good."
yeah. Now people pop up, so it's a cool thing. It's so yeah, the health and fitness. There's a lot of ways to be healthy, man. There's a lot of ways to be unhealthy, and I,
Yeah.
people go, "Oh, how do you go to the gym? 7 days a week?" I was like, I don't do very much. Uh, I don't kill myself 7 days a week. I'll have hard workouts, but
Yeah.
a lifting session might only be like yesterday. It was only like 9 working sets total,
Mhm.
and I left, and I just had gaps in my day. I'm
Yeah.
not going to failure, but I like to go every day. I like to keep that schedule, and it
Yeah.
keeps me. I got something to look forward to. When I go to sleep, I got something to look forward to in the morning of going to the gym. I
Yeah.
know that I get to go to the gym and I get to lift my stuff, or I get to run, or I get to go on a rower. I just bought a rower. I'm waiting for it to show up. It's
Oh,
going to
that's
be here
sick.
like Monday. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. Love that.
That's
But
dope, man.
Um, yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's really the one thing, the best thing for our mental health is the first thing we cut out when anything goes wrong. Is you're drinking too much, you stop going to the gym. Anything bad happens
Yeah.
in your life, you stop going to the gym, and it's the one thing that keeps everything regulated and on the rails.
Mhm.
And I knew it too. I would even say it. I was like, I just got to keep coming to the gym, and I would always stop. It's
Yeah.
like stop going. And it's the first thing we cut out, and it's the best thing for us. So I gotta keep my when I'm at home and I'm on my schedule, like always in the gym, always in the gym. And if I need a rest day, I take a rest day, but I still go do something. I still
Yeah.
take the dog for a run or something like that. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
interesting, like, the hardest part is going there and then warming up, I've found, because obviously, the older you get, the more important the warm up is. Our joints are shitty for whatever reason once we get older, but, um, I found, even if I just hit the foam roller for a little bit and I get moving, eventually I just forget about why I didn't want to do that in the first place. It just makes everything better. So it's like, if you're struggling with that getting there issue, what I really thought was cool when I first started kind of competing in CrossFit was like how Rich Froning set up his whole life to be around fitness. Like he would have like a pull up bar at his front door, his back door, and then like his basement was a full gym or like a half gym. And then he'd walk outside and he'd have a workout area, and then he'd go to his garage and there'd be gym stuff in there too. And it's like all of the places that he can go to procrastinate have workout equipment. So it's like how can we set up our lives in a way to I guess make the time between like decision and action a little bit shorter. So it's just like doesn't have to be that expensive or complicated. You could just have something in your house to get you moving, and then it's like, oh, okay, I feel better. Let me go to the gym, you know?
there's an author that said somebody asked him how do you write such prolific novels or some sentiment like that, right? And said, I just try and write 200 words a day,
Yeah.
and then once you're rolling, it just keeps going, right?
Hmm.
Uh, I I learned a lot on my last road trip. I learned a lot about not warming up, and
Oh
I
God.
I really don't warm up anymore. I mean, I
Yeah.
always start with an empty bar, but it's always 45-pound increments until I get to my working sets. But
Hmm.
when I was on the road, my first set was always 225 from the ground, and just pick it up, put it on my back, do my set. Because I warmed up the first day, and then I think the second day I did another warm up, and I went, "This is taking too much time. Like, I gotta get on the road." So
Yeah.
I would either put if I was from the ground, I would just put my 225 on the bar, pick it up, put it on my back, do my squats, and I had my camera set up, go do that, come back, throw it in the back of the truck, and drive off. And then if it was in the truck, I would set up. First set was 315, and I would just go. And I didn't have any. I just went. I don't think maybe I don't know. Maybe I got to a point, but I just went. I don't think I really need to do this, and I just kept doing it, and I kind of got
Hmm.
used to it. But there's some people that have a theory about warming up of just going and things like that. Yeah, but definitely for dynamic movements and things like that.
Yeah.
I
I think
I
I think your
always
body I think your body gets to a point where it's like it remembers these weights and the positions you need to hit. So like you can get lazy with it, but then like I know for me, every now and then I'll sneeze just the right way or I'll cough a little bit and like completely throw out my back and I'm like, "Oh,
mhm.
god damn it, like I need to I need to warm up again or like get back to doing things the right way." So hopefully
That's one
that
of my
keeps working for you. I don't want it to I don't want to
oh,
jinx you at all, but
knock on wood. That's one of
doesn't
my
yeah, knock on
life
wood
lessons.
somewhere.
One of my life lessons I've come up with is you always respect the lightweight. I never get hurt
Yeah.
on heavy lifts. I never get
Yeah.
hurt on max lifts as well. I get hurt on not taking the easy lifts seriously.
Yeah.
You throw your back up just like with your sneeze because your
Yeah.
core is not braced. So you
Mhm.
sneeze and um, now there's times to lift all fucked up. Like I will intentionally round my back and then
Mhm.
straighten my back, and then do the lift so that I'm working those muscles to make, and then twisting your rotation and things like that. I'll do stuff to prevent injuries,
Yeah.
but I'm taking that seriously. But every time I just, just muscle the weight and into a messed up situation, you pull a muscle in your back, like, why did I do that? I know
Yeah.
better than that. And so, and that's with life, right?
Mhm.
With training, and especially in the military, if we don't respect these benign situations, then
Yeah.
we have a greater chance of being injured or killed. Because there's no reason I should have got hurt the day I got hurt in the military. There's no reason that the team sergeant didn't respect the conditions that we were in and
Mhm.
said, "Oh, we'll be fine." And I was not fine.
Yeah.
And that's went from the day. And instead of stopping training and sending me home, he didn't send me home. He didn't want to send me
Yeah.
home. He didn't want to stop training. So I got hurt again.
What
And there
exactly
was no
happened with
reason for
that?
it. Oh, we were supposed to be out in 3 to 5 foot waves out on the ocean, and we were out in 12 to
Oh,
15
okay.
foot waves. So I just flew up in the air and came back down on my head, got knocked out. And,
Oh,
uh,
shit. Alright.
and then I got hit with the engine about half an hour later, trying to put it back on the transom. And then we got the shit kicked out of us all the way to the shore for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Wow.
And everybody wanted to send me home except the team sergeant. He made the decision for me to stay and hang around. And the next day, I pulled the door frame with a TMP into my face. I had a little spatial awareness issue. So I pulled the door
Mhm.
frame into my face and I let go and I fell, but I bounced my head off the concrete. So I fell off the step and bounced my head off the concrete.
Oh my
So
god,
uh,
man.
I would have recovered from the first two. I didn't. I technically have not recovered from the third one, but yeah, just severe pain. I still get some of them. Weird things with my eyes, memory problems,
Mm.
and a lot of them I can work through. I can focus through a lot of them and stay, but it's a lot of energy that it takes to get through. But I'll see my eyes do some weird stuff. I kind
Yeah.
of go blind. I kind of go blind in one or two eyes sometimes. I get shooting pains, and then the ones that go all the way down my body, those um, have mostly gone away. I got one the other day when the treadmill shut off at the YMCA, and I kind of slammed into I like fell kind of weird, and I got a pain that went down my whole body. So
Gotcha.
some stuff in my neck, some stuff in my head. There's always this weird pain going on in my head. It's just really a very light, numb pain.
Mhm.
And then I get to have some nerve. I don't know about damage, but I get this tingly
Mhm.
sensation as it radiates from this same spot that hurt when I hit in the boat.
Yeah.
So some things. The blind one really bothers me. So I get a check on the first of every month, and I'm afraid of the ocean. So everything's all
Okay.
good, man.
Well, I won't invite you to the beach anytime soon.
I'm okay on the beach. I'm okay
Not the
going up to
ocean.
my. I'm okay, but sometimes, I was out there. Where was I? It was Miami or Delaware or something. I was staying on the beach, I think, and I listened to the waves crash, and I got like the heebie-jeebies. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, fuck that, man! Like, it was just a big crash. It was it was making these
Yeah.
big crashes, and I got all fucking worked up. I was like, oh, I gotta get out of here, man. It still bothers me 15 years later.
Of all the
So
places on Earth that I think are the scariest, it's probably the ocean because we just don't know anything about it. Like, the fact that we know more about another planet compared to the ocean is kinda wild to me.
there's very little air down there. I don't know if you've ever had the chance, but it's just hard to breathe.
Yeah.
And if you want a lesson in how small you are in this world, go put on a life jacket or a life preserver and have somebody drop you off in 15-foot surf, and you will feel how powerful the water is and how small you are.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I can't remember how old I was when I saw this, but there's a YouTube video called "A Journey to the End of Time," and
Okay.
it's literally like it speeds up by a couple hundred years every second that the video plays, but it's basically like, let's walk you through the end of the world to the end of the universe, and it just shows you, like, how big everything is in comparison to people. and I remember I finished watching it because it's like an hour long, and I couldn't go to sleep because I was like, "What's the point of all this?" Like, I'm just so tiny, but it was just funny because I'm sure I was being dramatic at the time, but I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't know what's real.
No, no.
Yeah.
Uh, I tell people, like, what do you know about the Navy SEALs, and what do you know about this?" I was like, "I don't know jack shit, man. I don't know
No.
fucking jack shit about special forces." And I was a Green Beret, and all I do is study what we've got going on and make content for us. I don't
Mhm.
know anything about anything,
Yeah.
let alone something about other. It's like like I just make the jokes. I'm just here for the comedy, you know. No,
Yeah.
so but no, we don't. There's so much information to retain on every subject that is that as long as you've got a basic understanding of how things operate, you can get by. But to get into the minutia of life on every different scale, and then you start getting into astrophysics, and you go, man, I'm gonna have to sit this one out here. It's just
Yeah.
too many zeros.
Yeah. Is there like something is there something you've always wanted to study or maybe try to learn that you just haven't yet?
Mm, I don't. I don't know. I don't think so. I A lot of the stuff I used to find fun, I don't find fun anymore since I quit drinking. I used to love bowling. I don't really like bowling anymore. I used to
Mm.
be I was very good. I used to go golfing. I was okay at golfing. It was my you just go get drunk and drive the cart around. But study, I don't know. I study trends and marketing stuff on
Yeah.
Instagram and try and stay ahead and see what's funny and what people want to see. But I am a very, very, very lazy person. I don't do anything
Mhm.
unless I have to.
Yeah.
And for what I'm doing now, I try and stay ahead because I feel like I have to keep progressing the way I am. But I don't, even in the Q course or in the army, if I needed it, I went and figured it out. But
Yeah.
even when I was selling trucks, I knew all these stats, but I only knew the ones that I had to know. Other stuff that I deemed was useless. Like you don't
Mhm.
need to, there's no need for me to retain all that information. I just didn't learn it. I didn't learn anything until it came up,
Yeah.
and then I would take that on. So uh, that and planning ahead. I hate planning ahead. It just seems to screw me over every single time. But
Yeah, it's funny how, like, we've both been in a job where that's, like, paramount, but then when I come home or when it comes to vacation or anything like that, my wife does all of it. She's like, "I've planned this, this, and this, and I know where the transit stuff's at, like, we'll take this rail or this subway or this plane," and I'm like, "I don't care. I just wanna get there."
see, I don't have that, so neither one of us planned. So then I got to do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Where are we going? Oh, we're going to New York. Where are we staying? I don't know. Great.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, maybe it'll get better, who knows, but I like taking trips. I like taking trips where there's a lot of unknowns, except for the living portion. Like, I've, obviously slept on floors and stuff before, but it's that part's not fun, but I do like just going and taking a random road trip here and there.
Well, yeah, that's how the Squattober road trip came to be. I just decided in middle of September that I was going to hit the road, and
Yeah,
I was going to record some episodes. Then it morphed into I'm going to go squat in as many states as I can and raise money for Project Recon. And now
yeah,
this year we're going to do all 50, and that's just from winging it. Like
yeah.
I
Let's
didn't know.
let's talk about that because
Yeah,
you've mentioned it a couple times. But what is Project Recon for those who don't
Project
know?
Recon. Project Recon is this logo here. I think you can see it. Yeah. So they are a special operations focused nonprofit that is trying to get FDA authorized stem cell treatment to special operations veterans.
Nice.
And all of the technical stuff. I used to have a card. I don't know where it went. Uh, I am the or I am their an ambassador for them, and, uh, Travis Wilson is the founder.
Okay.
Uh Green Beret, 20th Special Forces Group. He's also the owner of Alpha Elite Performance and Alpha Elite Performance Outdoors, which is
Oh,
another
nice.
nonprofit. They're actually headed to Cabo to do a retreat for 8 Green Berets, I believe, out on a fishing vessel. They're gonna go catch some sailfish or something.
That's
Looks
sick.
fun.
Yeah.
And the CEO is Anna Richardson, and she is in charge. I think she's a veteran herself and a spouse of a Green Beret.
Mhm.
And then the other employee is Jess Holland. So those 3 are the team that make up Project Recon, and then there's me just doing my social media stuff. And
Cool.
so Travis asked me, he's like, "Yeah, could you do a couple shout outs while you're on the road?" I was like, "Yeah, whatever you want," because I had planned this trip to go around the
Mhm.
country and just record episodes with my friends on site around the fire. Well, my buddy came over to the house and he said, "What are you doing for Squattober?" And I said, "I don't know what that is. What is that?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"You squat every day, and in the month of October, Squattober." So I looked it up and I came up with an idea. So I loaded up the barbell, and I even got a weight rack in the back of the truck that I can set up, and I
Nice.
threw plates in there and all my stuff to travel with. And I just said I'm going to go also to as many states as I can and create my own little world record. So the
Yeah.
most US states squatted in the month of October is currently 33, set by me.
Okay.
So uh it became fun. It was like a game. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
then this is fun," and then I started the videos and putting them up every day and showing people where I was and going to these cool places. And the cooler the place was that I went, the more views it would get. And I didn't
Mhm.
have a very big following at the time, but it was just getting bigger and bigger, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we ended up going, me and Peril, the dog. Ended up going to 33 states, and we raised some money for Project Recon, and I got to see all these people I hadn't seen before. So I just got in my truck and went and saw people all over the country, saw my friends, saw new people that I hadn't met. And then I came home, and a couple months ago I said, I'm going to do all 50 states
Mhm.
this year for October. And so we started putting the I started putting the plan together. The girls at Project Recon, they're handling some of all of the rest of the stuff, and me just getting with my friends who's gonna sponsor this or sponsor that, and setting up the logistics. So the plan is to start in Anchorage, Alaska on October 1st, and to finish in Honolulu, Hawaii, October 31st, and hit all 50 states and do a set of 13 repetitions of back squats at 250 pounds for America's 250th birthday.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's
So
gonna be a really cool trip, especially if you're able to make all those stops. I'm assuming you will, but, yeah, that's super cool. Um,
the yeah, the stress point last year was I did it with no money, so I had to make it to
okay.
somebody's house to stay at
Yeah.
for free every night. And so I would just drive and drive and drive. And towards the end, I ran out of places to stay because it was the country's quite large out to the west. But this year, the plan is to just be able to pull over at a hotel when I'm tired or the sun goes down, and I'm like, I don't want to push this anymore, and then just wake up when the sun gets back up and continue on. And so I think that'll eliminate a lot of the stress that I had last year about it. But no, I'm excited about it. Get on the road and see the country again, and uh, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Um, I'm excited for it, and I don't really get excited because then you make mistakes. But
Yeah.
uh, I'm I I'm looking forward to it. Drive the whole country. How often does somebody do that? Drive the whole country and get to see the whole thing. So
Yeah.
I I love it here, and especially the driving around. I drive everywhere, and it's a
Mhm.
it's a big country, and there's a lot of cool places. And show everybody a little piece of every part of it in this October.
Yeah, that's super cool. Have you ever had anyone join you, like, at any of your stops to do some sets with you or no?
My sergeant major mentioned something. He's retired now. He's down in Miami, and he
Yeah.
mentioned something about tagging along for a couple legs. And it's like, as long as you understand that, like, I wake up, I get in the truck, and then I move on, and I go find stuff along the way, and I'm always
Yeah.
so. But I might have some people tag along this year. We'll see. But just you know, me and the dog, he don't he don't help at all when it comes to the driving. But he's always ready to go, and
Yeah.
he gets to meet a lot of people. And so we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But I want to get one of those 360 cameras. And
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
might be helping with that. I'm going to make some sort of harness for him with a
Yeah.
pole coming up so he can wear the 360 camera
Be like a little camera dude.
or something. I might even make a little thing with wheels because he'll be on my leash, but I
Mhm.
might make something that he pulls on wheels so the camera is on a pole, like a mobile tripod that he's pulling also, so I'm not bumping into it with my weights. So
Yeah.
I got some ideas for things I'm going to do because I need more video. I need more content of the process because all that content was missed out on the setup and the takedown and
Yeah.
the stupid comments because I'm some of these I'm flipping out on the side of the road. I'm like, God damn, smash my hands like, God damn it, fucking yes, and I was trying to set shit up, and I do the whole thing in flip flops as well, so
Oh,
I don't
man,
put
you're a
shoes
beast.
on and just all in this. And people are like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I'm
Yeah.
just comfortable, man.
I
And
feel
then
like
all
you
of this
could.
this stuff too. With this, like, you rarely see me wear one of my shirts. I'm always wearing
Uh-huh.
businesses that people send me shirts of people that I had on my show. So this is Pineland. This is he's out in Ohio. So we'll probably go out and see him again. And he's a firearms instructor out there, retired Green Beret, U.S. Marshal, and stuff like this.
Nice.
Pineland Consulting and Development, but that too. So the sponsors will go in the truck. So we're going to have my whole truck lettered up with all the businesses that support
Mhm.
um, the the road trip. So you have on there, and then I can do a shout out in your state and some other things though too. So, it's one thing you get in the spotlight, but I don't want to stand in the spotlight by myself. I want to
Yeah.
shine it on my friends and the people that support me because from day one, there's been so many people that have been supporting me and helping me out along the way, and I just want to do the same for them.
Yeah. No, that's awesome idea. I recently got a drone, like one of those little hover drones for Christmas, and that thing's awesome because you can put it at, like, eye level, you can do aerial view, you can do, like, basically, an orbital view, so it'll take a running shot of you, like, kinda like if you're on the top of a mountain, say you're doing some squats and you want it to film the whole thing, it'll fly around you on a pre-programmed path. So that'd be pretty cool, and it connects to your phone too, so it can take all the audio from, like, your mic, and it can hear what you're saying, so, I mean, you could film, like, your setup and do, like an ASMR thing where it's like, "Ah, fuck, like, I smashed my finger," or, like, something like that, and you turn it into something funny, so,
Yeah,
um,
I need to
yeah,
look into that. Yeah, I also got to look into the legalities with the FAA and having those little things as well.
that's true.
Uh,
I can send you the link for it after we hop off, but, they usually have a really good sale going. They're pretty inexpensive for the most part,
okay.
but they're really nice little drones. Um, yeah, that's awesome. So when did you say that's coming up this next October?
Yeah, so
October.
the tentative start date will be September. I think I'm going to leave here September 27th. I'm going to go down to see my boy in Dixon, Illinois. We recorded a podcast on day one last year at his studio down in Illinois. So I was
Mhm.
like, can we do the same thing again this year? And so we're going to do, year two, we're going to record at his place. And then I'm going to drive from there to get to SeaTac, Seattle, on the 30th of September. And then I'm going to fly from SeaTac to Anchorage, not sure where I'm staying, but I got a couple people that have been on my show that are now going to be living there. So I think I'm going to stay with them or stay wherever, and then we'll do PT with the Army unit in the morning
Nice.
there and record like a kickoff, and then it's right to Anchorage International and fly down to SeaTac, and then hit
Cool.
first group and wind my way to Boise and through Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and then the question is, where am I going to go from there? Am I going to go um, down into Michigan again, or then I got to go south? So we'll see how much I want to wind, because I don't know if I want to go to Chicago or if I want to go to Southern Illinois, to Illinois, or things like that. So I just got to figure out my path. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's
want to
dope,
be
man.
leaving Florida on or about the 17th, and then leaving 10th group on about the 27th, I think. 27th
Okay,
or 28th, to get to Portland on the 30th to fly to
gotcha.
Honolulu.
Cool.
So,
Who is your favorite guest that you've ever had on your show?
oh God. Uh, this recently, episode 120, what was it, 124? Rolf Jensen and Nathan Dial. So Rolf Jensen and Nate Dial were two of the original SOPSI cadre.
Okay.
And we just talked about the early of the program. But what was cool about it for me is I've had an exceedingly high amount of 18 x-rays from the early part of the course
Mhm.
come on my show and just talk about, how brutal the 18 x-ray course was back in the day, and the workouts and the programs and everything. And then to just have these two guys that were there when it started just come on the show and tell all the stories, and then they were able to send me pictures from the early days of it, and I've been able to post those. And the amount of people that have seen those guys, and it brought back all these memories for people that contacted me and now contacting them, and then I met other people. That was, that was my favorite episode. There were points in the show where I was just sitting there, just listening to the stories and going, I don't know what we're talking about. I kind of totally lost the plot as the host here. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, let's just go to the next subject. It was a lot of fun. It was great. I love all of them. I love having people on and just having the conversations and meeting people and being able to talk about different ideas and effects on the community, and where we've been, where we're going, and what
Yeah.
are we going to do to get there. But that's the one that stands out, not just because it's recently, but just because it was just so cool as
Mhm.
the whole package of creating the show and having all these people's stories that were 18 x-rays, and then
Yeah.
the two guys that were there at the beginning of the program and tell how things got set up and some other stories and things like that. So that was cool experience.
Yeah. I think the 18 X-ray pipeline is super interesting because you get so many people from different backgrounds, and like that's just kind of a snapshot of the military as a whole. But I mean, you got NFL players, MMA fighters, people just from the craziest walks of life, and all of a sudden they felt compelled to go in that direction. And like, I don't, I mean, from an outside perspective looking in, I think that that's probably the best route to go personally. Like, you're so prepared for the test. And it's like, that's all that they do for months and months and months is prepare for the test. So, I mean, I've seen people make it, I've seen people not make it from that pipeline. And it's always interesting to me, like the people that don't make it when they've had so much preparation. So I think it's really cool. It's cool that they have been doing that. And I don't know. I think that's one of the better things that has come out of the community too to help people get through that. You know,
Oh, yeah. Now I do say there's no substitute for regular Army experience.
that's true. Because I
There's
mean, yeah,
there's no
you have to have something to compare it to. You know,
There's no substitute for that. So you miss out on some things. You gain on some other things, but the
yeah,
perspective you have from being in your unit and going, I don't want to be here.
yeah,
Um,
definitely,
it's just that. But mostly people on Facebook, they'll get in my comments and they'll say stupid shit. And I finally on one the other day, I just went, hey man, the only reason there even is a special forces is because of the 18 X-ray program. And there's like,
yeah,
that's not true. And I was like, Try me. I know all like, I know all the numbers. I know all the people. Like,
Yeah,
you there's nobody is coming over from the regular army. So, well, they're not recruiting as well. I don't think the army that you were in 1965 does not exist anymore, man. Like,
yeah,
it's not real anymore. The people aren't the same.
yeah,
So, everything's different. The attitudes and the way people view things are different. The military is different. And even I got out in 2018. It's not the same military that it was 8 years ago. Some policies and then some redaction of policies and changes and leadership and all these things. Things have changed a lot, and
yeah.
they're going to continue to change. And it's all going to really, yeah, it's going to be a disaster when it swings back the other way in 2 years or 4 or 6 years.
Yeah, there's a book called Hard Times Create Strong Men. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but like it's true. I mean, things come in cycles and kind of like what you were saying that today's army is just not the same. I mean, I can 100% agree with that because I joined technically during peacetime. It was right before we pulled out of Afghanistan when I was at basic officer leadership course. So I thought, here I am, like, okay, yeah, I'm going to Fort Campbell. I'm going to deploy to the Middle East, like pretty standard stuff. And then they're like, nah, just joking. We're going to change the way that we do things now. But I mean, even then, it was people were joining the military because it was something that could provide a benefit to them. It wasn't necessarily like, yeah, I want to go serve my country. And then you have programs like the 18X program where there's some guys who are very highly motivated. They fit into that blueprint very well, and they don't want to deal with the extra bullshit. And they really want to go make an impact, and they know what they want. Which I think when you're younger, it's hard to know exactly what you want. So that's why there's so many guys who are making it through that are probably in their mid 30s that have experienced a little bit of life, and they just want to get straight to the point. So I think that that's the benefit of that program. So you can just cut around some of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it is just a different environment now. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how things change.
For better, for worse, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's good. Some of the stuff that went on in group in the early 2000s with being deployed constantly and the attitudes and the mental strain it was taking on people and their families, that's
Yeah,
not healthy either. So,
no,
it's just that things change, and requirements change, and we just have to adjust with it. And there's a shitload of information available now to guys to make a decision as a civilian. You just come on here and listen to you, or you listen to me, or whatever, or a bunch of other shows.
hmm
Like, there's a reason mine. I listen to mine. I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. It's like I don't really make any fluff even up what happened or anything like that. It's just like this is how it is. This is what I think about it, and
yeah,
you can take the information for what it's worth. But there's a ton of information to make decisions on, and people just maybe they don't want to deal with that because of stuff they've heard from various individuals. But uh, everything changes, and we'll see where things go. But it's a cool job. It's a cool hat. And once you're in the club, it's as long as you don't do anything too stupid, you don't get kicked out. Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, I saw the post you shared yesterday about the 44-year-old who reenlisted.
Oh yeah, I went through selection with. Oh, that was
Was
Bunny,
he
Coach
was
Bun.
he already prior special forces, or was he trying
He's
to
an
become?
officer. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So he resigned his commission and reenlisted as a sergeant. Sergeant, yeah, in the National Guard. It sounds like I was trying to get some more information,
yeah,
but that's a common thing to do. I didn't know. I've only heard of the rumor that you could do that.
hmm
Mostly officers will resign their commission and then just pin W warrant officer two,
mm,
and then act like nothing happened. But um, I've never heard of him going enlist. I have heard of him going enlisted. I've just never seen it. So good for him. That's
Yeah,
I don't know.
was
I
he
think it's awesome.
prior special
Yeah.
forces then, or was he
Hmm.
another MOS? Oh, okay,
Yeah, he's
gotcha,
an officer. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
that'd be
just
an
didn't know if
18th
he did a
ops.
different job before that or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
He's
super
SF
cool.
SF officer.
Yeah, that's super cool. Anything else you want to talk about, man? We've covered a lot.
Oh yeah. No, it's it's just one thing. You never know who's going to listen to
Yeah,
whatever you record, and you try and. I had a I had an agenda when I first started, and now I just come on, and when I record with people, I go, whatever we talk about, is whatever we talk about. This is just for you and me, and if other people want to listen to it, that's
yeah,
cool too. The the benefit is really to you and me now. And now going forward, if like I tell people, if you need anything that you think I can provide, do not hesitate to reach out to me because now you have at least a base understanding of what I'm all about. You
yeah,
don't really know me, but at least we've had a
sure.
conversation, which a lot of people never speak to
Yeah,
for anything longer than a couple minutes. At social functions, there's other stuff going on. There's
hmm,
pressures to do this or show up and even look and act a certain way when you're in public. Like, nah, I've pulled away from a lot of the stuff I started with when I started the show, and now it's just have a good conversation with somebody and learn what they're all about and what to do with their life going forward. And no, anything that all comes up, I I just try to impress upon people by the stuff that I make and the way I carry myself now. And I
yeah,
try and somebody reached out to me. I the other night, and they gave me some information on a person, and I went, I appreciate you telling me that. Uh, I just want to let you in a little secret. I used to be a piece of shit, and I've made some bad decisions, and I know that I appreciate you giving me the information on this person, but I do give quite a bit of grace to people,
yeah,
as long as they haven't done something that you can't come back from.
yeah,
And there's people that have come on my show and have solved some of those problems that have made things worse for themselves, and then in the process made it better afterwards. So uh, I want to give people as much grace as the people that took care of me when I got hurt, right? So I just want to pass that on. And if I can do that by acting the way I do and showing that I actually care about people and whoever listens to this and whoever we work with moving forward, hopefully we can, as I said, make the difference by what I do and what I can bring to the community. So, no, I
yeah,
appreciate you having me on, man. It was fun. I love recording. It's all practice. One of my friends, he called me. He had just started up his show, and he's like, the episode didn't really go well. It was kind of boring. I was like, did you enjoy it? He's like, yeah, it was great.
and it
Who
wasn't
cares?
boring.
Like,
Yeah,
who cares? Like, did you learn something? Yeah.
yeah,
Then it was good. Like, it's all practice, man. Even if it's a disaster and you fail at asking the right questions or the flow of the episode doesn't well, then you're probably not going to let that happen again, right?
yeah,
Just like I tell people with selection, I was not going to let that happen again.
yeah,
I went back and it was total focus to killing myself or getting
hmm,
selected out there.
yep,
And so, you learn so much from when you mess up and things.
yeah.
I've had to cut episodes off because
I fucked that one up.
I'm too depressed to
Yeah,
continue on this. And
yeah,
that takes to actually say while you're recording, I can't continue because I'm just so sad. Like,
yeah,
so you learn something from every show. And,
yeah,
I just would like if you take that away from us talking today, that it's all worth it. Everything's all worth it.
yeah.
As long as you don't do
Definitely,
something you can't come back from.
definitely, man. No, I'd love getting to talk to you. I had some speed questions, but
Yeah, what do you got?
you mentioned something. I just want to touch on it real quick for the listeners. It's all learning, right? Like if you're, and this is something you can apply to anything. It's like you are not going to know what you need to improve on until you go and fail at it miserably. Like part of podcasting and part of social media is finding the right people to connect with. And You never know who's going to say yes to you. You never know what opportunities are going to open for you. Like, I'll just use Christian as an example. Like, he is probably one of the coolest dudes I've ever talked to. Would have never, ever gotten that opportunity to talk to him and get exposed to some of the things that he has shared with me if I hadn't reached out to him on Instagram. So, like, if you're starting off on this journey and you want to start a show or you want to start a YouTube channel, like, social media is probably one of the best tools that's ever been invented. Like, people are literally a message away. If they see it, that's cool and they'll respond and maybe something comes of it. If they don't, then just move on and find the next person. But like, this whole show is built around just finding the best role models possible for those who might have not had that guidance growing up, or maybe they just feel lost and they need someone to look up to, or they need someone to have that reference information. So, I really appreciate you coming on here and, giving me your time. It means a lot. Um, but going into the speed round, let's start off with this one. You're
Go
like, all
ahead,
right, I
man.
got to sit up for this. All right. Do you believe in aliens?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Sure.
I,
Okay.
absolutely. Why not? Okay. Here, my buddy Matt Butler. He's a retired Green Beret. He's a
Hmm.
officer, ugh, and he's now a shaman. And he does ceremonies. He's got his religion out in Utah, and he does not ayahuasca, but he uses
Okay.
acacia, right? And he does his ceremonies. And I've had some few friends go to him, and I read his book. Uh,
Yeah. Let's reference the book real quick.
where is it? Come on, Nick. Now I got to go one, two. Here. It's the one that says shamanism, from
Shamanism.
Green
Okay.
Beret to shamanism, and it's One Man's Journey to Heal by Matthew Butler.
I'm going to check
And
that out.
yeah, it's real good. Send him a message. Get a signed
Okay.
copy. That's what I always tell people to do.
Okay.
Yeah, most of these are signed. I love having my signed copies, and then I can have
Yeah.
them
That's
back
sick.
here and I advertise for people. So I love that
Hell
too.
yeah.
Uh, and the book, I finished the book, and I called him up, and I said, "Man, I don't know if you've ever heard this one before, but I 100% believe everything you have in that book,
Hmm.
and I 100% don't believe any of it." And he's like, "Nope, I never heard that one before." And I said, "I believe it's all true, everything you wrote in there. I also
Yeah.
don't live in that reality right now. So
Yeah.
I live in a different plane of
Yeah.
existence, right? I'm just not in that world. If I was, fair game, but I just look into it." So the same thing with aliens. If they exist, oh, that's cool. Sure, I believe
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
If they don't, that's cool too. Whatever. It doesn't affect me. Does affect me. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. It's the same with the news. The news doesn't affect my life at all. It's going to
Yeah.
happen regardless
Right.
of everything. People are going to be spending my tax dollars ineffectively, or they're going to spend them effectively. I have no decision in the matter. So if they do, they do. Oh, that's awesome. That would make all the science
Right on,
fiction
brother.
novels, all that fantasy stuff cool. And if they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
Are there lizard people? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, but maybe.
All right. If you could meet any influential figure,
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I love that guy. I've seen all of his shows, everything. He's
Shut
taught
it
me more.
down. This is
Yeah, shut it
bullshit.
down. It's donkey. I've seen everything he's done. He's taught me more. He has taught me more than anybody else. All of it, everybody combined. Like,
About life, about cooking,
everything,
like
everything.
everything.
Just the way
Interesting.
he does stuff, the way he talks to people. His interviews
Yeah.
with and privately and cooking. And I love to cook. I
Okay.
love all of his shows. And so someday the side mission to lesser known operators is to become famous enough to where I can just run into Gordon Ramsay at an event or something like that, and
That'd be
meet
epic,
him and
man.
be able to say for 30 seconds how much he's influenced my life.
That's so cool. My wife's gonna love that because that's like her thing is cooking shows. she loves
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay, so that's
Yeah,
super funny.
I love I so you know, he taught me how to cook a steak, yeah, so, you
Yeah,
know, and that's I eat a lot of steak. I've the video plays in my head every time I cook a steak. You know, it's 100, you know, his Christmas meals and all of his early stuff. Even like Hotel Hell, that's a you
yeah,
know, from when he was going and then down in making cocaine down in South America, the British versions of Kitchen Nightmares,
yeah.
yeah, just, uh it's just there's so much content there. Some of the new stuff is all right. You know, TV, the food stars, or you know, that one's okay. But I could watch Hell's Kitchen. I have watched Hell's Kitchen on a loop for days on end. So, well,
Fantastic. All right. Gosh, favorite movie franchise or just favorite movie in general? Do you have one?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings? Okay.
Yeah,
Tell me about
I
that.
could watch Lord of the Rings on loop for just all the time. So, but it's and you know I've got a few different series that I just continually play back to back to back. But Lord of the Rings is one of them, and, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the first 8 seasons, not the ninth season, or the first 7 seasons. The 8th season sucked, but, and then, Parks and Recreation,
Nice.
Parks and Rec,
We
and,
really like the Rookie.
home
It's, like, serious but funny at the same time, so if you get a
okay.
chance to watch that, I'd definitely recommend it.
The co Is that a cop show?
Yeah, it's a cop show. It's
Okay,
about I think he's, like,
yeah,
45, 46 years old. He's, like, a contractor, and then he decides he wants to become a cop, and it's just, like
okay.
it's all about him, basically. It's pretty funny.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
definitely give that a look.
Okay.
Well, yeah, man, appreciate you making the time today. It's been a great conversation. Hopefully, we can do another one of these soon.
Yeah, absolutely. You can come on anytime. I tell people, anybody, as long as you're in my corner of the world, you can come on the show anytime you want,
Yeah,
and talk about whatever you want. And
cool.
you know, I created my own little term, right? Lesser known operators, and I get to decide who gets to be in the club. And you know, people reach out to me, and um, even this guy, he wrote a book. He's a Marine. He's like, I was never special operations or worked with him. He's like, but could I come on the show? I was like, yeah, absolutely. You can come on because you asked me. You didn't send me one of those stupid emails that I get where it's like, this person would be such a value added, and I delete.
Yeah.
Yeah, god damn, like, you'll get those events. You'll start getting those too, and those drive me nuts. I go, I got one from a guy who had already been on my show.
Mhm.
I said, "Hey, are you sending these out?" And he goes, "No." I was like, "What is it?" And he's like, "Send that to me." I sent it to him, and he's like, "This is terrible." And he looked into it. His business partner was going through marketing firm to try and get him landed on podcast, and then it got to
Oh,
me, and then back to him,
gotcha.
and it went full circle, and so they got fired as a result.
Yeah,
but,
that's wild.
but I was like, hey man, just to let you know, nobody reads these. This is
Mhm.
awful. So you'll get
Yeah,
them. You'll get them eventually. The more views you get and stuff like that. But I was like, this is
yeah,
terrible. I never respond to those. But no, I love it, man. I'm all about it. And anything that helps the brotherhood, I'm all about.
that's awesome, man. Well, you're definitely one of the super bros now. We love having people like you on, so, I appreciate being a part of the club too, and I will probably put this out on Spotify and YouTube. If not today, then probably tomorrow, and then I can send over the media from it if you want to use for
Yeah,
your stuff
just
too.
collab. You can, yeah. Well, we can go to the waiting room after this. We wrap up and talk about
Yeah.
it. All right.
Cool, man. Well, thank you again. Guys, thanks for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Lesser known operators, where can people find you if they don't already know?
All right, lesser known operators now streaming on all social media platforms and streaming services: Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. And then lesser known operators on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. I think those are the only three that I use. I might have
Cool.
an X account, but I never post on it. So,
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. And thanks again, guys, for watching. Till next time. Peace.